Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about NFTs and why the K-pop space doesn't need them and why as a K-pop fan you shouldn't support them. I got a little pissed off at the end of this video, so please I apologize for that, just please ignore that. But before I start this video, I do want to say that I have started my own Patreon, and I want to say a huge thank you to all my Patreons on screen for helping me and supporting me, and just thank you for becoming patrons. So if you are interested in becoming a patron and getting exclusive perks like extra videos, getting to see my videos before anyone else, as well as inside info and behind the scenes and exclusive voting power, consider checking out my Patreon down below. I do also have a Ko-fi if that is something you're interested in. But without further ado, let's just talk about this NFT bullshit. So before we can talk about why NFTs is something that we don't need in K-pop or even want, I need to talk about what an NFT is. I don't know a lot about NFTs, so I'm going to try to make it as simple as I can, since I'm definitely not an expert on these things. So please don't roast me in the comments for my limited understanding and my simple explanation. So firstly, what does an NFT stand for? It stands for non-fungible token. Non-fungible basically means that something is unique and cannot be replaced with something else. Here's an example that kind of connects to K-pop. Polaroids are one of a kind and therefore non-fungible because you can't replace it since there's only one of that exact Polaroid. Something that is fungible is, for example, a $5 bill. You can replace a $5 bill with another $5 bill since there's multiple $5 bills in the world. Now we know what an NFT stands for. What on earth is it? NFTs are tokens that are unique and one of a kind and only one person can own at a time. Things like art, collectibles, and so on. Examples of NFTs that you might have seen on the internet are Bored Apes or Cool Cats. For each NFT is slightly different, but often computer generated. Another thing you need to know about NFTs is that you need to use cryptocurrency to buy them. You can't just pay in US dollars via PayPal and get an NFT. Or at least usually. You need a whole crypto wallet, and overall it's very messy and complicated. Also, cryptocurrency can be very dodgy and it really fluctuates in value. Also, when you buy an NFT, you not only have to pay for the NFT, but you also have to pay certain fees like gas fees. Now you might wonder, what the hell is a gas fee? Well, it isn't just free to make these NFTs, and they actually do affect the environment. So let's talk about why NFTs are horrible and why we don't need them and shouldn't support them. The major issue surrounding NFTs is the environmental effect they have. Although the NFT itself might not be harmful, the whole world of NFTs and crypto definitely has a huge impact. So by buying an NFT, you are directly supporting an industry that is destroying the environment with their crypto mining. To quote Business Insider, quote, "When someone mines cryptocurrency, they're actually running programs on their computer that are trying to crack the problem. The greater the power behind your computer, the greater chance you have of winning the right to update the blockchain and reap the rewards. So miners are incentivized to put more power behind their mining operations to beat their competition," end quote. The founder of the Bitcoin company Miner DeFi, Junior Themo, said, quote, "Every time more people mine more Bitcoin, the competition rises. The more machines on the market, the more difficult it becomes to mine Bitcoin. So now you have a competition going on and more machines mining and competing with each other," end quote. According to the University of Cambridge, it is estimated that Bitcoin alone, Bitcoin is one of the digital cryptocurrencies and one of the biggest ones, generates 132.48 terawatts hours annually. That is more than the annual energy usage of Norway in 2020, that used 123 terawatts hours. Along with the energy, the mining also emits carbon dioxide. It depends on how much energy is being used, but in 2020 in the USA alone, nearly 40 billion tons of carbon dioxide were created. For those who might not know, CO2 or carbon dioxide becomes poisonous when there's too much of it in the air, and it is a direct cause of global warming. It affects the atmospheres and it affects our ocean. Keep in mind that the US is only responsible for around 35% of Bitcoin mining And in 2021, China actually banned the mining of cryptocurrency. And this is only getting worse every year. In January of 2020, Bitcoin's monthly energy consumption was around 6.07 terawatts per hour. In January of 2021, it was about 8.92 terawatts per hour, and then this year it has risen to 10.9 terawatts per hour. According to this Vice article, mining an Ethereum-based NFT requires 124 kilowatt hours of energy. This is equivalent to about 100,000 Visa transactions. To put that into better perspective, an average American household only uses about 30 kilowatt hours of energy per day. So 142 kilowatt hours for basically a piece of media. To touch a little more on the CO output, based on data from the Energy Information Administration, for each kilowatt per hour, there is 0.85 pounds of carbon dioxide released into the air. Multiply that with the amount of kilowatt hours that it takes to make one NFT, and that is 120.7 pounds of carbon dioxide. That is more than 6 times the output of burning a gallon of gasoline. Again, that is for one single NFT. Another thing that is very bad about NFTs, on top of the horrible environmental causes it has, is the fact that they can be scams, and these different NFT projects do prey on unknowing people. For example, in the K-pop space, a lot of fans don't know what an NFT is, but want to get one because their favorite group is pushing them. Most often, these groups are not saying what an NFT is and what it takes to make them, only that they're selling them. So fans might not even know what they're getting and are maybe expecting a little more than literally just a photo on the internet. Another issue that I personally have with these is FOMO. FOMO stands for fear of missing out. These companies are pushing NFTs and using words like limited, unique, one of a kind, and so on to try to pique people's interest. When in reality, all these NFT projects are the same, people don't want to miss out and therefore will buy into these NFT projects just to make sure that they got their hands on one. On top of all that, people who buy NFTs often just buy them to sell for profit. So if you want a specific NFT but someone else has bought it before you at a base price, they can ask you for more money because it is, quote, one of a kind. You will see some different places where they talk about eco-friendly NFTs and that they're not bad for the environment. However, right now there is no NFT that does not affect the environment. It's just not a thing. There are some companies and blockchains that don't use as much energy, but even if they're using half the energy, it is still an enormous amount of unnecessary energy consumption and pollution. From my limited understanding and research, there's no NFT, crypto, or anything that does not affect the environment at all. That it doesn't exist. So these eco-friendly NFTs are just slapping the label on because they don't use as much energy as big companies, but they're still using energy and polluting. So NFTs are a pretty new thing in K-pop, and don't worry, I will give you some examples in a little bit. But let's first talk about this Reddit post posted on r/Kpop Thoughts. The whole thread is very interesting, but I'm only going to be focusing on the poll that was added. It gives a very good perspective. Out of the 1,600 votes, the overwhelming response was, quote, I do not support and would never buy NFTs. It seems that most K-pop fans do not support NFTs or don't even know what they are. But yet, certain companies think it is a good idea to sell them. This, in my opinion, just shows that these entertainment labels have no clue what their demographic is, and also they just don't care. Why on earth would Stacy, who's 15 years old from Ohio, want an NFT? Besides the unique and one-of-a-kind aspect of these NFTs, they serve no purpose whatsoever. Well, to the company, of course, they get a lot of money, but for the fans, there really is no purpose. There's loads of examples of K-pop agencies and groups joining the craze, and I don't want to sit here and go over all of them, so I will only go through some specific cases in detail and then just mention some at the end. I want to go over some that I found particularly interesting. So if I don't go into detail about some of the groups or companies, definitely drop more information in the comments if you know more, because my brain hurts. An early 2020, it was announced that the solo idol Sunmi would be jumping into the market of NFTs, creating the NFT project called Sunmi Club. Fans were not happy about this decision and tried to educate the artist and the agency about why fans did not want these tokens. But what made fans more upset and angry was the response given by the company and Sunmi. Here is a statement that was given by Abyss, which is Sunmi's company. They said, quote,
"Greetings from Abyss Company. Sunmi Club NFT was issued on February 23rd and 24th, 2020. The above project was created to allow Sunmi's upcoming music and characters to exist in a more diverse space, to remember and not forget the love and enthusiastic support from fans and our artists who have built a unique character throughout her career. Like Sunmi, who has always pioneered new paths to walk on, we are hoping to reach our fans and the public through the new world of Metaverse. We plan to show Sunmi's new colorful side as a singer and producer while staying close to her many fans who support Sunmi. We are preparing a mid to long-term plan solely for miyane, and we will share the news as soon as possible in a form similar to the Sunmi Club NFT roadmap. We are also reviewing ways to collaborate with miyane in the events and benefits of the Sunmi Club with our artists' participation. However, we sincerely apologize for not announcing these plans in advance and any confusion that might have caused. Through this matter, we have promised to listen more carefully of the opinions of our fans and try to make this project an opportunity for our artists and fans to communicate more actively. As we support Sunmi's original creativity and progressiveness, walking along her unique path together, we kindly ask you for your continuous love and support in our artists' future performances. Thank you, Abyss Company."
Who's my bias in BT? What are you talking about?
Overall, this statement just screams, we don't care what fans think. If you're a real fan, you will support Sunmi. The statement did not address any of the fans' concerns either. This statement did not get a good response, and it has more quote retweets than likes. Then Sunmi herself took to Weverse, posting her own thoughts, saying, quote,
"I steadily do music, make music, and write lyrics, and the reason is, without a change, now and always, you. I spent 15 years with you, always thinking and worrying all the time, and I guess sometimes my decisions, my thoughts, or the direction I take might have hurt you and disappointed you. But don't you know me well? My only wish is that you listen to my music, and all I'm proud of is that my fans are calling me on it. All I want is to give you and show you better and more things. I will keep standing on stage for you. If you're hurt and tired, then you can leave. I will keep being on stage, so if you miss me sometimes, please come back."
Unquote. The way that not only the company but also Sunmi addressed the backlash about the NFT left a very bad taste in my mouth, and some people literally are threatening to boycott Sunmi and her releases due to this project. I decided to try to look into the NFTs, and someone is trying to sell NFTs from the Sunmi collection for a price that equates to $1,500 US. That is absolutely ridiculous. When Stray Kids announced their upcoming tour, Stray Kids' second world tour Maniac, fans were very excited to get a chance to see the group perform live. The tickets for the show sold out very fast and more dates were even added. I won't be touching on the ticket buying much as there was a lot of issues with people buying tickets, long queues, and a lot of scalpers. But on top of that chaos with Ticketmasters, fans started noticing another red flag. Since a lot of fans were in a rush to get good tickets, they might have not noticed a small itty-bitty line where it says virtual commemorative ticket included. If you click on that, it says, quote, "Each ticket comes with one free virtual commemorative ticket, a unique digital collectible that is your very own piece of concert history." End quote. Further down, it also says, quote, "Virtual commemorative tickets are NFTs minted on an eco-friendly blockchain," end quote. More interestingly, according to this account on Twitter, they had taken screenshots before of the ticket selection where there was no mention of these NFT tickets. Days later, that same person went back to look at the tickets, and now there is this information about the NFTs. A lot of fans had no clue that their Stray Kid ticket came with an NFT, and a lot of buyers did not want an NFT or to support them. From what I can tell, there's no option to not get the NFT. Of course, this is not a Stray Kids or JYP issue because non-K-pop shows also have these NFTs, but it is a little messed up that A, Ticketmaster suddenly added this onto their tickets, B, that there was no way of not accepting the NFT, basically saying if you don't want the NFT, you're not getting a ticket, and C, that JYP was okay with letting this happen. To be fair, they might have not known about it themselves, but This has to be addressed in their contract. And not to say anything when there was such a huge backlash is also odd. An example that most fans might know of is of course Dreamcatcher and their attempt at NFTs. Dreamcatcher's latest release, Mason, had strong, powerful lyrics about global warming and lyrics that beg the listeners to think about the earth and how it's being impacted by our own choices. The group also announced the Save Us Challenge, where they asked fans to do small challenges like unplug unnecessary electronics, recycle, use public transportation, and more. However, days after this comeback, the company announced that they were planning to join the NFT world. To quote 7dreamers.com, the ENTC NFT collection Remember Me Dreamcatcher is a hyper-quality PFP NFT collection that embodies the image of individual members. I haven't really been following the situation. I actually only knew that they had announced the NFTs and that there was backlash. What I didn't actually know is that they went through with this and they actually did release the Dreamcatcher NFTs. They haven't really talked about it, and from what I can tell, they haven't tweeted about it since the original announcement. So they released these NFTs, and I can't really tell you how much they go for since you need to connect a wallet, and I'm not about to deal with that. But this group NFT here has the average price of 0.57 Ethereum, which is $1,130 US. If you scroll down on the page, one of them was sold for 0.2 Ethereum, which is almost $400 US. It also looks like some people had bulked by these NFTs. Why the hell would you need 42 pieces of this NFT unless you're planning to sell them to someone else for a higher price? Another thing I kind of want to mention is that the group NFT, which was supposedly drawn and specially made for this project, is literally traced. An account on Twitter pointed out the similarities between this EXID photo and this NFT, from the outfits to literally the same poses. I have a hard time believing that the person who made the NFT did not trace that photo, which isn't even Dreamcatcher. Now, you might wonder why the company went through with this after so much backlash. I did speak to some insomnias, and they did bring up a good point. The reason these companies like Dreamcatcher aren't pulling out of these NFT projects, even if there's a huge amount of backlash, is probably because they can't. When companies reach out to a second company for NFT project, there's usually some kind of contract, so you can't pull out unless you're willing to pay high amounts of money kind of as damage. But then you start thinking, did they not think for a second that this might not be the greatest thing ever and that this might be something fans don't want? Especially for a fan base that is literally supporting a comeback that's all about saving the planet. The reason I decided to make this video was because Bugaboo, one of my favorite groups, decided that they were going to start doing NFTs. This is the second time a group that I support released NFTs, the first one being Pink Fantasy. When Pink Fantasy released theirs, I really didn't know what NFTs were about, but now I'm a lot more educated. On May 22nd, it was announced that Bugaboo was going to start their own NFT collection. They started a separate NFT account and posted their first tweet. And as soon as this was announced, fans made it clear that this was not something they wanted, basically begging the company not to go through with this. Some fans tried to educate the company, while others, like myself, tried to suggest alternatives for the company to make money, and some people even mentioned the risk of the group's first comeback being boycotted if they went through with this decision. All the rainbows, which are Bugaboo's fandom, that I know are not supportive of this decision. There is now even a hashtag going around in protest, and as I said, literally no one seems interested. But this is not where it ends. Unlike some other companies have done, when the fans showed distaste for the NFT project and the company was getting backlash, a team did not back down. Around an hour after the announcement of the Bugaboo NFT account, they posted this tweet trying to justify their NFT project by saying, quote, "For those who are concerned about harming effects of the NFT project, there is nothing to worry about. These NFTs will be minted on the Centrix blockchain, which is 100,000 times more energy efficient than those minted on Ethereum," end quote. Fans, of course, did not change their minds and tried to tell the company why this was a horrible idea. Then a day after, they posted this great tweet acting like nothing was wrong. And they were acting like they weren't being screamed at in the replies. When I started making this video, that was all that had happened. But today, shit really hit the fan on Twitter, and you really have to be there. I highly recommend that you just go read some of the tweets that the NFT account is making, because if I didn't know better, I would have thought this was a troll. The NFT account started replying to fans and literally doubling down and were in full damage control mode, but they just made it look even worse. They responded to my tweet that I had made about the situation, where I just kind of said my mind, and they gave this banger of a reply. "These NFTs will be minted on a more energy efficient blockchain and will have other utilities as well, such as free exclusive merchandise." So now they're just full on bribing people with, quote, free merch, which isn't free because you're paying for the NFT to get the merch. They are now offering merch, fan calls, and more for those who support and buy this NFT. Again, this sounds like bribery. Overall, their replies on Twitter are a mess and honestly kind of embarrassing. I don't know what the hell is going on, but someone needs to stop the literal 13-year-old from tweeting, because what the hell is this? After going through some of their bangers that they had in the reply section, like basically calling this fan poor, I also took a look at the Discord server, and over there, they're straight up just lying to people. So this Bugaboo admin says, "Not all NFTs are harmful to the environment. The technology used for the Bugaboo NFT is advanced enough that each transaction consumes no more energy than one Visa transaction." That is a lie. Every single NFT and cryptocurrency is bad for the environment, just in different amounts. Using less energy is still using energy. There is no such thing as 100% eco-friendly NFT. They just keep digging a deeper hole, and as I said, if the Bugaboo account hadn't shared this NFT account, I would have literally thought that this was not real. I'm still holding on to the hope that the backlash from fans will make them understand that this is not something we want. But if you want some interesting reading material, I highly recommend that you go check out my Twitter as well as the Bugaboo NFT Twitter, because someone over there needs to be fired. As I said before, there is a handful of companies and groups that have jumped on the NFT bandwagon. Here is a list of some of the groups and companies. I won't go into detail. Also note that some of these NFT projects ended up being cancelled due to backlash. Ace, Brave Girls, The Show, The Universe app, who made NFTs for groups like ATEEZ, AB6, Cosmic Girls, and the soloist Kang Daniel. Monster X, Pink Fantasy, and then some companies have also started their journey into NFTs like Hybe, JYP, YG, Kakao, MLD, and SM. Not all of these went super well, and a lot of them were highly protested, and some of them even dropped out due to the backlash, but some of them didn't. Now, if you've been following me on Twitter, you might have seen me absolutely losing my shit on the timeline. The whole Bugaboo situation is probably the most unprofessional response I've ever seen come out in this whole NFT situation, and is absolutely mind-blowing. As much as I love these groups like Bugaboo, it is obvious that they do not care about fans or what they think. Because if they did, why haven't they cancelled these different projects? It is very unprofessional, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. If you want to see more of my opinions on the Bugaboo situation specifically, I will be tweeting about it, so you can follow me. I personally see no point in NFTs. For just the NFT, the only thing you really get is your name next to it. It's just an online file that you cannot do anything with. You don't really get anything from it. There are some NFTs that have some perks, like for example, like the Bugaboo account said they're gonna like do merch and fan calls, but it feels a little shady. And I feel like if you need to make people buy the NFT with the promise of merch, it is a little odd. Because why not just make merch? You can't use the excuse that it costs money to make merch, because it also costs money to make the NFTs and to like use cryptocurrency. And also it costs money to collaborate with different companies to make these projects. These companies are clearly just using their fans that don't know any better and using stuff like merch and fan clubs and exclusive perks to push people to buy these goddamn NFTs. Please, please, please do not support this bullshit. It adds nothing to the K-pop community. It serves no purpose in the K-pop space, and overall is something you shouldn't support if you care about not only the future of K-pop, but also the future of the planet. But that is going to be it for this video. I got a little heated, as you could probably notice. I'm trying to relax, but I wrote most of the script after the whole Bugaboo fiasco today, and I'm just pissed off. I'm tired. So please tell me in the comments what you think. I want to remind you again about my Patreon, just because I haven't actually mentioned it in a video before, so I just want to make sure that you all know. My link to my Patreon and my co-file will be down below. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.